Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not My Problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem.
But it's certainly someone's problem.
So I have officially started looking at flights for my trip to Maryland to see you in May.
I'm so excited.
I know, me too. Southwest is having a really good sale right now. And I apologize because by the time our listeners are hearing this, the sale is going to be over. So
Right.
You missed it. Though just keep your eye open. They have all kinds of good sales. But I'm waiting because I have bonus points from my Southwest credit card that are supposed to post to my account. And I'm hoping that in 3 days, when this sale ends, my bonus points will post and I'll be able to buy the flight with points.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yes.
So I am going to do my best. I have a job that I have been waiting to start that I can't really talk too much about. They said it could be up to 18 months before I started. And unfortunately, it has not been that long. So
no.
I have to go through some things and there's scheduling things that need to be done. And I have no idea the actual date I'm going to start work, but I'm going to do my best to take as much time off as possible around that.
I hope so.
I'm going to tell them up front. Like once I have a start date, I'm going to tell them up front, like, so I'm going to be out of town, like from this date to this date.
Yeah. And just add a couple days on either end for me.
Yeah. I can't like take a whole week, I don't think, though, especially
no
being the first, I just started this job. But again, I'm going to tell them up front.
Yes, which is helpful. Most people understand that you have things booked.
Right. I had no idea.
When you had literally no idea how long it was going to take for you to get this job.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to come up and see you and go to Paracon and go see some family that I haven't seen. I was talking to my cousin the other day who she said she was going to buy some merch. So
awesome.
I don't really think she listens to the podcast, but she said she liked our merch. So she was going to go buy some for us. But she did say she would share the podcast to her friends. So if any of Lexi's friends are listening, hi.
Yeah, it is funny. I realize that like none of my family wants to listen to the podcast. It's probably because they listen to me yammer all day, every day. And they're like, we don't need to hear you yammer anymore.
Well, my family doesn't listen to me yammer all day, every day. And they don't listen to the podcast either. Which, if they weren't into the paranormal, I'd be like, okay, like totally get it. But like my dad, my cousin, and my uncle, who all live in Florida with me, not my cousin Lexi, my other cousin, all like paranormal things. But I know my cousin Kristen listened a couple episodes in the beginning. My dad attempted to listen to one, but I think his ADHD is just as bad as mine and couldn't do it. Yeah. I don't know.
By the way, everybody, welcome to our scripted, unscripted banter.
Yeah. It's getting really unscripted.
Really unscripted. We're just yapping. I do have a question for you, though.
Oh, okay. Here comes the scripted part.
Yeah. What is the strangest food combination you enjoy?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I can go first if you need me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Utz barbecue potato chips with the ruffles. Okay.
Okay.
Dipped in chocolate chip ice cream.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, in general, I do not enjoy chocolate chip ice cream.
Yeah.
I don't. But
chocolate chip ice cream or chocolate?
Chip. No, chocolate chip and barbecue and those barbecue potato chips. Now,
I don't know what chocolate chip ice cream is.
It's vanilla ice cream with chocolate chips in it.
Oh, okay.
How did you not know what that was?
I guess I've only ever had cookie dough, which always has chocolate chips in it, but it also has cookie dough. So I've never. I was thinking it was like a chocolate flavor ice cream.
No, just vanilla with chocolate chip. So my aunt had told me that That was one of her pregnancy cravings. And I was like, that sounds disgusting. She was like, you have to try it. And I did. And I was like, damn it.
Okay, so the thing that everybody always looks at me really weird for, when I go to Auntie Anne's, I get a cinnamon sugar pretzel or the pretzel bites, whatever I'm feeling that day, with nacho cheese.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
It is so good. Go try it because it's delicious.
I can't tell you the last time I've been in an Auntie Anne's.
Oh, I used to get it all the time when I used to travel all the time because I was always at the airport. And, you know, it's one of those things that the second you smell it, you're like, holy shit, I want that.
Yeah.
And there's also one in downtown St. Augustine. So occasionally I walk past that and I'm like, oh, I want it. Auntie Anne's. But no, whoever is ringing me up always looks at me like I'm crazy. They're like, did you say nacho cheese? I'm
yes,
like,
I did.
I did. I did. One person did tell me that I was the second person in like a month that had done that. And I was like, oh my God, there's somebody like me.
You might be onto something then.
Yeah. Or maybe I just went there twice. I don't remember.
That would be great. It was just you the whole time.
It was just me both times.
You go back like once a week wearing different outfits, like in a Practical Joker skit.
Yeah. Change my hair.
Put a little mustache on.
This is getting really popular. I've been getting this combination like once a week.
That would be great.
Yeah, it would.
All righty. Do you want to know what we're talking about today?
I do.
You already know, but.
I do. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I already know what we're talking about because I have access to the schedule.
That's very true. And you actually put it in when you sent the link to record, it actually has the name of the episode in it. It does. Yeah.
Yeah. It helps me keep track. If I don't do that, then when I go back, because I'll let episodes stack up like 4 or 5 at a time and then I'll go edit them. So if I don't do that, I get lost.
Yeah. How about we let the listeners in though?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We
can tell them.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay.
So today we're diving into one of the most infamous haunted locations in America, the Sallie House. Nestled in the quiet town of Atchison, Kansas, this seemingly ordinary home has a sinister reputation that's anything but quiet. For decades, it's been the focus of chilling paranormal claims, from disembodied voices to violent poltergeist activity. But what makes this house truly unique is the story behind its haunting. The legend begins with Sallie, a young girl who supposedly died in the house during a botched surgery. But is she really the one haunting it? Over the years, the activity in this house has raised questions about whether Sallie is the only spirit or if something much darker resides there. We're going to explore the history, the terrifying experiences of people who live there, and the investigations that have attempted to uncover the truth. Is it all just urban legend, or is the Sallie House a doorway to the paranormal? Buckle up, because this one's not for the faint of heart.
Is it a portal to hell?
It might be a portal to hell.
Did they do an episode on it?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
I watch so many paranormal shows.
I know.
It's so hard.
I lose track of who does what.
Track. But first, we have some fun facts.
Okay.
About Kansas. You ready?
Cool.
The first discovery of helium and natural gas occurred in Kansas in 1905, which became a big deal for scientific and industrial purposes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
That is interesting. Kansas has one of the largest populations of greater prairie chickens.
What the fuck is a greater prairie chicken?
Well, they are a unique species known for their courtship dances. So you'll have to Google that. You have to look that up on YouTube.
I will.
It gives everybody some homework.
Yeah. Do it right now. Pause the episode right
now. Yeah. And go look
at it.
You're going to look up the prairie chickens and their unique courtship dances.
Okay. Well, I have to do it too.
It's a strange, intricate, very specific dance.
It's a weird looking chicken.
Like an arrow right at a chicken lady's heart. But what exactly do these birds find so appealing
the look
about
on your face is priceless.
So my face, the reason why I have my face is because I know how much your husband likes chickens. So I immediately picture him doing this dance for you.
I'm going to have to show him this later. And you know my husband's goofy enough to do it too, right?
He will.
Yeah, exactly. He absolutely will.
I can 100% picture him doing that dance for you. Is that how he quartered you, Kelly?
Exactly what he did.
Oh, God.
All right, moving on. Kansas is known as the sunflower state because of its abundance of wild sunflowers.
I did not know that.
Also the state flower.
Wow, I did not know that. I like sunflowers.
I love them. One year, a couple years ago, Nick planted sunflower in front of the house, and this was so damn tall. I've never seen a sunflower that tall, and the flower part on it was huge.
Oh, I bet it was so pretty.
Oh, it was gorgeous. And then we had a bumblebee that just lived in there and just kept going around. It was so sweet.
So my brother told me, because I don't remember how we got on the conversation. We were talking about how awful it is to be on dating apps. And we were talking about how all guys, especially in Florida, seem to think that women like fish pictures. Like every guy on the dating profile is them holding a fish that they caught. And it's just like, it's like it's like a big meme going around that like no woman wants to see you holding a fish picture. And my brother made the comment, he was like, for women, it's a sunflower. He's like, that is in every single woman's dating profile is them with a sunflower. And I was like, fuck, I need to go delete a picture off my dating profile.
That's great. What do you think the psychology in the men are? Do you think it's like, I can provide for you? See, like I can catch us food? Because I can kind of see why men would think that. I can see where they're thinking our minds would go, but it's not where our minds go.
It's not. And I don't know. I've thought about this a lot, and I don't understand why men think that that's a turn on for women. And it might be for some. Well, I just know from what I've seen, unless you are a woman who also really likes to fish.
My cousin Megan would love it. My cousin Megan is out there fishing all the time. But here's the thing. I don't think profile pictures on a dating app are necessarily supposed to turn you on as much as it's supposed to let you see who that person is.
Right. But to me, there is no way that as many men out there that have a picture of them holding a fish on their dating app, that many of them are super into fishing. Like if you love to fish and like that is your like one of your biggest hobbies, absolutely put that picture on your profile. Because again, they're supposed to show your personality and let people know what you're into. But there is no way that many men like to fish, and big fish. Yeah. Like we're not talking about like they go out in like the little pond and pull up this little tiny couple inch fish. Like we're talking they're like deep sea fucking fishing with like 12-inch fish plus, holding it up. Like how they probably fished like once, and that was the picture they got when they were like, oh, I'm going to put that on my dating profile.
This ain't the only 12 inches I got for you, baby.
Oh, probably. I think that's more it.
Do you think that's what it is?
I think the bigger the fish, the smaller the dick. They're overcompensating for something.
I don't know about that, but it's a theory.
Honestly, I would be more attracted and intrigued by a man on the dating profile holding up a really small fish.
Because that would make me laugh.
Exactly.
That would make me laugh. And that to me is like, okay, this.
Yeah. You're playing on something that's funny. You're not overcompensating because you got a small fish.
I saw something today, a meme, where this guy wrote his phone number on a lime and he handed it to the woman and he said, it's a pickup lime. And I was like, you get a date, sir.
You would get my number.
You get a date. I'm sorry. That is funny.
Yeah.
It's endearing. It's sweet. It's not aggressive.
Nope.
You get a date. Yeah. All right. Scary facts about Kansas before we derail this too much, talking about limes and fish. The small town of Stoll, Kansas is infamous for its cemetery, rumored to be one of the 7 gateways to hell.
Mm-mm.
Legends tell of satanic rituals, mysterious disappearances, and eerie supernatural events. Even the Pope is said to avoid flying over the area.
Interesting.
I don't know how often the Pope would fly over Kansas, but...
No, probably not very often.
Right. Beneath the city in Hutchinson lies a network of tunnels rumored to be haunted by the spirits of workers who died during their construction. People report hearing phantom footsteps and whispers in the dark. Tunnels are funny because there could be so many other reasons why you're hearing.
Yeah.
Like, I know that like just a light running water can almost sound like you're hearing whispering or talking if you're far enough away from it.
And I think because some of them are so big and vast that something could be really far away and it could sound really close.
Right.
And you could necessarily it might not be in your line of vision, but it could sound like it's super close due to echoes and all of that.
And they're creepy as hell. So you're already primed that you're expecting something spooky.
You're kind of
in
that mindset of something spooky is going to happen because there's no windows. You're underground. Like, it's just not a great situation to be in.
Nope. And lastly, Kansas' location in Tornado Alley means it has seen countless devastating storms. Some people believe the spirits of those lost in those tragedies linger, with a higher than usual accounts of ghostly sightings reported in storm-stricken areas.
We're not in Kansas anymore, Kelly.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it.
Okay.
But before we get into the Sallie House specifically, there is an interesting connection that the Sallie House has with another infamous haunted location in America.
Okay.
The Villisca Axe Murder House.
Yes.
I have a friend, Katie, who listens to the podcast. Hello, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Katie is supposed to be writing us an email about her experiences at the Villisca Axe Murder House and some other experiences.
Katie, write us that email.
Please.
Like yesterday.
Yeah, get on it already. Katie is just as ADHD as us, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's this connection, it seems, or is there? I don't know. Some people think there is. One of the eeriest coincidences about the Sallie House and the Villisca Axe Murder House is their addresses. The Villisca Axe Murder House address is 508 North 2nd Street, Villisca, Iowa. And the Sallie House address is 508 North 2nd Street, Atchison, Kansas. They have the exact same street address.
Interesting. Do you think the connection comes from that?
We'll talk a little bit about that.
People have built it. I mean, I don't know much about this connection. So
yeah, but it is very interesting that you have two of the most infamous haunted houses in America, and they both have the same address. They're also both located on the corner of their street.
Interesting.
Yeah, it could be purely coincidental, and some paranormal researchers believe that the numbers can hold a significance spiritually, and this shared detail could be a link between the two locations. Investigators also experience similar activity in both places. I'm not going to get into too much about what that is because we will be doing an episode about the Villisca Axe Murder House at some point. And we're going to get in.
My skeptic hat on, though, there's only so much paranormal activity people can experience.
That's what I was thinking, too. It's all very common.
Similar.
Now, some investigators suggest that there's a common dark presence that exists between the two locations, possibly a demonic force that moves between them or feeds off their haunted reputations. This idea
Why can't it just be two demons? Why does it got to be the same demon?
I'm going to get into a little bit of weirdness about it in a second.
Okay.
So the idea comes from reports of visitors who have had something follow them from one house to another. So they'll go to the Sallie House and they'll tour that house, and then they'll go to the Villisca Axe Murder House, and that person seems to have more experience, more activity than the person that hadn't previously just been at the Sallie House.
Okay. How many people are going to investigate these places back to back?
I don't know. I didn't give me stats on that.
They're not close.
Well, they're not. It's reasonable. It's both in the Midwest. One's in Iowa, one's in Kansas. It's not like they're next door neighbors.
I'm curious what the distance between the two are.
A lot of people, when they're in that area of the Midwest and they want to visit haunted locations, they try to hit multiple at one time, specifically investigators. Like if you're traveling to investigate.
2 hours and 3 minutes. That's reasonable. I was assuming it was more like 4 or 5 hours apart.
Oh.
I feel like everything in the Midwest is like 6 hours plus.
Mhm.
So that's where my thought was. Okay, 2 hours. That's reasonable that if you're out there. I mean, hell, we're talking about doing me coming out to Iowa with you and doing Edinburgh and then going to Villisca.
And that'll be like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, that's even further.
Drive. So what's interesting is
if we're out there that far, we might as well just drive the other 2 hours and do Sallie House too.
Probably. By the way, my friend Katie, who needs to write us the emails, she's from Nebraska. And when I told her that we were doing Edinburgh and then we were going to go to the Villisca Axemer house, she said, "Can I come?"
Of course.
And I was like, "Of course you can." But then she had previously told me that there's like an urban legend in her area where if you park at a certain spot, you can hear like women screaming in the woods, and she won't go there. And I'm like, I don't know the Edinburgh manners for you, Katie.
Like, yeah, we're going to be trying to talk to ghosts here.
But she said she would go.
Come, but
she just might have to hold our hand the whole time. And I was like, that's fine. So what we will not be doing is leaving Katie alone in the basement at Edinburgh Manor.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But we have to be alone in the basement.
I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. You did you hear the episode we recorded about it?
I was there. I helped record it.
Yeah. I wanted to walk down that hallway. My body would not let me.
Okay.
Would not let me. My brain was saying, just walk down there. And I would like move forward and my body would not move. And then what happened to me later when I did walk down that hallway?
I want to get scratched. I'm cool with it.
All right.
We got to push ourselves, Kelly, if we're going to do this.
We do, but I don't know that I'm ready for that.
We all go down into the basement and then 2 of us will leave.
I don't think that
you don't have to walk into the basement by yourself.
I don't think it's safe for anybody to be in the basement. It's a big basement. I don't think anybody should be down there completely alone. I wouldn't feel safe leaving somebody down there completely alone. Maybe somebody in another part of the basement. Getting back to these houses. We can talk about Edinburgh later and what we're going to torture Katie with. Love you, Katie. I have seen an investigation. They were testing a theory that other people have talked about with the connection between the 2 houses, where they have put one person in the Villisca house and one person in the Sallie house, and they have their cameras set up, and they are communicating with each other the whole time. And when one house is experiencing a lot of activity, the other house was quiet. Nothing's going on.
Interesting.
And then the activity stopped at the house where it was all going on. And then the activity started at the other location.
Yeah. And what's even more interesting is Villisca is also said to have a connection with, I don't remember the name of it, but it's another place like nearby, like much closer. Because when Project Fear did the investigation the first time, they sent 2 people to the Villisca and 2 people to the other location that I cannot remember the name right now. And then they swapped. So it's interesting that Villisca is connected to multiple other haunted locations.
Yeah. All right. So now we're going to get into a little bit of history of the town that the Sallie House is in.
Okay.
Atchison, Kansas. So Atchison, Kansas is often called one of the most haunted towns in America due to its long and sometimes eerie history. Founded in the 1850s, it was a major transportation hub along the Missouri River and played a key role in westward expansion. This brought prosperity, but also crime, violence, and tragic events that some believe have left a supernatural impact. So there's a couple of places in there that are reported to have a lot of activity.
Okay. Do you know, so I know you said this was one of the most haunted towns, but do you know what is considered to be the most haunted city in America?
I don't. It's probably New Orleans, something.
No.
Is it not? Have we done an episode on it and I just don't remember?
No.
Oh, St. Augustine?
No, actually. St. Augustine is the oldest, but not the most haunted.
Well, which one?
Savannah, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now we'll have to do an episode about Savannah.
Yeah, well, we're going to do multiple episodes about Savannah. There's a lot of locations down there.
All right. So the first place in Atchison is Jackson Park. So Jackson Park is not just a peaceful public space with walking trails and picnic areas. It's also the home to one of the town's most enduring ghost stories. Local legends tell of Molly's Hollow, a secluded area within the park where an eerie presence is said to linger. Molly was a young Black woman who, according to legend, was murdered in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Accounts vary, but some say she was lynched by an angry mob, while others claim she took her own life after a tragic love affair. Regardless of the exact details, many believe her spirit remains trapped in the hollow where she met her untimely end.
Aww.
Yeah.
Poor Molly.
Visitors to the park, especially those brave enough to venture into Molly's Hollow after dark, have reported hearing disembodied screams and cries for help. Some have seen shadowy figures moving between the trees, which we know can be iffy.
Yeah.
Or felt an overwhelming sense of dread as they walked through the area. Others say they've encountered sudden cold spots, unexplained whispers, and an unsettling feeling of being watched.
Don't like that.
Mm-mm. Beyond Molly's Hollow, Jackson Park has its share of unexplained occurrences. People have reported flickering lights, misty apparitions, and the sound of rustling leaves with no visible cause.
Probably an animal.
Or wind.
Yeah.
Some claim to have heard footsteps behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. Paranormal investigators and ghost hunters have visited the park in hopes of capturing evidence of supernatural activity, while some claiming to have recorded eerie EVPs.
Ooh.
So while Jackson Park is a popular spot during the daytime, its haunted reputation makes it a place of curiosity for thrill seekers after sunset. Whether Molly's spirit truly lingers in the hollow or the unsettling experiences are simply the result of an imagination running wild, the park remains one of Atchinson's most talked about haunted locations.
Okay. Sounds fun. I want to go.
Yeah, I would do it. So now we're going to talk about Glick Mansion. The Glick Mansion is now operating as the Tuck You In at Glick Mansion Bed and Breakfast, which I love that name.
I don't need anyone to tuck me in, thank you. Stay out of my bedroom.
It's a clever name for a bed and breakfast.
Sure.
So it's a historic residence in Atchison, and it has a reputation for paranormal activity. Built in 1873 by George W. Glick, the 9th governor of Kansas, this Victorian
I thought
era...
you were going to say George W. Bush, and I was like, what is he doing building a house?
in 1873.
Yeah. Time travel.
Yeah, there you go. This Victorian-era mansion has been the subject of various ghostly reports over the years. I feel like Victorian mansions always have these stories. Yeah. Maybe it's because they look creepy. But yeah, guests and staff have reported hearing mysterious footsteps, especially during the night, and doors open and close on their own without an apparent cause. The mansion is believed to house a resident ghost, though specific details about the apparition remain unclear. The presence is often associated with strange noises and unexplained movements within the house.
Okay.
Despite the haunted reputation, many visitors are drawn to the Glick Mansion for its historical significance and the unique opportunity to experience a location steeped in both history and the supernatural. So we could go stay there if we wanted.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll add it to our road trip.
There you go. I'm going to need a lot of time off this job. And one more place before we get to the Sallie House, we have the McIntyre Villa, constructed between 1889 and 1890. It stands as one of Atchison, Kansas' most distinctive residents. Commissioned by John McIntyre, an Irish immigrant who amassed wealth through his harness-making business.
What?
Yeah, I'm sure it's not I'm sure it's not a sex harness, but that's what I think of every time I see the word.
Probably like a horse harness or something.
Probably something like that. But I got to go like sex swing here. That's what's in my mind.
That's where my mind went first, for sure.
In 1889, this guy he amassed a bunch of wealth making sex swings. Why not?
Why not?
People in the 1800s got horny too.
They did.
The mansion has been the site of numerous documented deaths, including suicides, contributing to the haunted location. So born in 1827, McIntyre immigrated to the United States as a young man. After establishing his successful sex harness and saddle business, he invested in real estate, culminating in the construction of the villa, and at an estimated cost of $14,000.
And how many sex swings are in this villa?
I would love to go and find out.
Yeah, me too.
Following his death in 1902, his second wife, Anna, resided in the home until her passing in 1916. The villa then served as various purposes, including a boarding house for 25 years, and was later owned by Isabel Altus, a retired violinist known for her eccentricity, who lived until 1969. So the activity there, visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures in the villa's windows and experienced the sensation of being watched.
Okay.
Accounts include hearing disembodied voices and footsteps on the upper floors and doors opening or closing on their own. Lights have been said to flicker in areas without electricity, notably in the tower, which lacks electricity wiring, and they'll see flickering lights up there. That's interesting.
That's pretty telling.
And Isabel had a favorite rocking chair that has been observed rocking independently, suggesting a lingering presence.
Okay.
So they do offer haunted tours of that place.
Add it to the list.
Add it to the list. Since we're going to Kansas anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we're going to have
I've never been to Kansas, so we'll get to finally knock another state off my list.
Yeah. I wonder what on our haunted bucket list, what is at Kansas? Let me see.
I don't know. Turn around.
I am. Stoll Cemetery.
Okay, well, we'll have to add that to the list too.
I don't know if that's close to Atchison.
Well,
all right.
How big is Kansas? Can't be that big.
I don't really know. I see it here on the map. It looks like it's pretty.
No, that was pretty sarcastic considering all the states out there are huge.
Oh, sorry. My sarcasm light.
I know we're used to living on the East Coast where all the states are tiny, but.
Yeah, it does kind of. When I think about the size of some other states, and I live in Maryland my whole life, I'm like, it's so teeny tiny and misshapen. And
yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to the Sallie House.
Okay.
All right. Nestled in a quiet Kansas town lies a property many considered, like I said, to be one of the most haunted locations in North America. But I feel like when I do research, every place it says is one of the most haunted locations.
Yeah. Everybody claims to be the most haunted.
Right. So obviously it's the infamous Sallie House. From the moment you step over its threshold, an unsettling chill creeps down your spine, leaving you with a sense of unease that is impossible to shake.
Okay.
A lot of people say that just standing outside of it and looking at the house gives them that feeling. So I imagine if you're like walking into it, it would.
It's even worse.
So this house has seen generations of residents live and die within its walls. At least 4 documented deaths are on record. However, it is an alleged untimely tragedy that cemented the home's sinister reputation.
Yes.
The story begins with a man named Charles Finley, a doctor who transformed a section of the home into a medical office in the early 1900s. His family lived upstairs while he treated patients on the main floor. One fateful day around 1905, a distraught mother burst through the door carrying her young daughter, Sallie, who was suffering from excruciating abdominal pain. Dr. Finney diagnosed her with acute appendicitis, a condition requiring immediate surgery to prevent her appendix from rupturing. Operating in a makeshift medical room, Dr. Finney administered a small dose of anesthesia. But tragically, it wasn't enough to fully sedate the young girl. When the surgery began, Sallie woke up screaming and thrashing in agony.
Oh.
The chaos led to a fatal mistake. Dr. Finley made a deeper incision than intended, causing Sallie to lose a fatal amount of blood. The little girl passed away on the operating table, leaving her mother devastated.
Oh.
So sad.
It is.
The house remained relatively quiet until 1992, when Tony and Deborah Pickman moved in. From the start, the couple felt something was off. The activity began subtly in their newborn son's room, where stuffed animals inexplicably moved from place to place, often arranged in a circle on the floor.
I don't like that at all.
I don't like that either. Initially, they suspected it was a family prankster, but their skepticism turned to fear when they witnessed the toys move across the room by themselves. It's like Toy Story in this bitch.
No. Toys coming to life. I don't like that. I'm out, Kelly.
You're out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not out. I'm still going to go, but
yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't like it.
No. They have a bunch of stuffed animals in that room too, as trigger objects to try to get them to. A trigger object is something that you put in a haunted location that you know has some kind of significance to the activity there or somebody who died there to see if it will trigger activity.
Yeah, in hopes that something else will interact with it.
Yep. So as time passed, the activity escalated. Lights flickered, strange noises echoed through the house at night, and Tony began experiencing violent attacks. He awoke with scratches covering his body and was plagued by vivid nightmares of the house burning or a dark entity threatening his family. Small fires even began breaking out on the inside of the house, and Tony started having disturbing thoughts about harming his loved ones. Fearing for their safety, the family decided to leave the home for good.
That doesn't sound like a spirit of a little girl.
No. The house's landlord, curious about the Pickmans' experiences, began his own investigation. He discovered a pentagram etched into the basement's original floorboards, suggesting that some sort of ritualistic practice had taken place there. Efforts to scrub it away.
Had the house sat vacant for any period of time?
I'm not sure.
Because that just sounds like some kids broke into the house and tried to summon Satan or something.
Which would be a ritualistic practice.
I mean, it would, yeah.
So efforts to scrub it away were reportedly futile as the symbol seemed to reappear, leaving behind a permanent stain. Now, it doesn't sound like it was a house that was left like abandoned.
Yeah. When you said, so were they able to scrub it away and then it would like reappear, or could they just never actually scrub it away? Because those are two very different things.
I believe when they were trying to scrub it away and it wouldn't go away, so they painted over it. But you can still see it bleeding through the paint.
Okay.
So even trying to paint over it.
That could just be the material or something that it is could show up after the paint dries. Maybe you can't see it when the paint is wet. Kind of like if you're trying to remove a stain from the couch, you can't really see if it's still, I don't know why I said couch, like you have to remove stains from couches all the time. Remove a stain from anything and you can't really see it if it's still wet, but then once it dries, you can still see that the stain is there. So
I feel like he might have done a second coat, but I don't know.
Right, but even so.
There wasn't a lot of information on I don't know what kind of paint he used, Jen, or.
That's true. I need all this information.
Like what time of year he did it or.
Yeah, exactly. Was it hot out? Did the humidity have something to do with it?
Was it too cold out?
Yeah. Was it below free? What type of ground is it? Is it like hardwood? Is it stone?
It says floorboards, so I'm going to say wood.
Okay. And I don't know a lot about wood and the consistency and how well it holds other types of material or paint.
I don't know. I don't know everything this man did to this stain.
Well, you should call him up.
I don't know if he's still alive, if maybe I could find some answers for you or.
Do it. If not, find his closest ancestor. I need to know.
So further paranormal investigations revealed kind of some chilling evidence. EVP recordings captured voices responding to questions, including a disturbing reply of "no help here" to the question, "Is God real?"
Oh.
Shadowy figures, mists, and even full-bodied apparitions of a little girl have been reported throughout the home.
It's a demon.
And visitors and investigators alike have described the feelings of being choked, scratched, or pushed by unseen forces.
Yeah, that ain't a little girl.
Yeah. So every inch of the Sallie House is said to be active, but some areas, of course, are particularly notorious.
Every inch.
That's what it says. Every inch.
Did someone go inch by inch and experience activity in every single inch of that house? I don't believe it.
I'm going, the next episode you do, I am going to pick apart your, like everything you could possibly know about it. Every last thing you could possibly. What was that guy's middle name, Jen? I need to know his middle name.
Sorry.
The basement is the site of the pentagram and has frequent paranormal activity. Doors to the basement reportedly open and slam shut. How many doors are in the
basement?
It says doors, so I'm assuming more than one.
Well, I need to know how many. Is it like 3 or is it like 17?
I don't know. Something's weird.
Okay.
I think that chair moved.
Interesting.
And it's just sitting there empty, and now I feel like something's sitting in it, just staring at me.
Okay. Well, maybe it wants to listen. Maybe it wants to know how many doors there are,
Maybe
Kelly.
That's what it's like. I need to know how many doors are in the basement of the Sallie House.
Do better research next time. Gosh.
Oh, you're lucky I love you.
I know.
Located on the second floor, Sally's room is believed to be where Sally's presence obviously is felt the most. Toys.
But why does she have a room? I never understood that. No, like this isn't like picking you apart. I'm sorry.
I swear to God, I can't even finish a sentence. I can't even finish sentence.
I'm sorry. But why does Sallie have a room? She never lived there.
I think it's the room where the nursery was. So maybe that's like where her presence would stay. And it just became kind of like her room. Remember where the toys would move? Like that seems like where a kid would hang out the most.
It's just, I don't know. It's just weird that that's like her room. She didn't live there. Like I remember when I first learned about the Sallie House, I got confused about that because it was like, oh, here's Sally's room with all these toys. And it's like Sallie never actually lived here.
No. I guess that's where they believe that she frequents the most.
Okay. I'll be quiet. Go on.
I don't think you will.
I probably won't.
I have never known you to do that.
I'll try my hardest to not interrupt you as much.
So toys have been caught moving on their own.
Wait a second, Kelly.
And investigators have recorded chilling responses from spirit boxes. Also, the living room close to the front door is often described as having an oppressive atmosphere. And visitors report feeling a heavy pressure on their heads and witnessing electronics turn on and off without explanation. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Okay.
A little bit. So there are some theories. Some believe it is the spirit of Sallie, who died during the surgery, that lingers in the home, either seeking comfort or revenge. Others suspect a much darker force is at play, perhaps drawn to the house by the rituals once performed in the basement.
That one.
This malevolent entity may even use the guise of a child to lure people in, only to target and attack them later.
That one. That's what I think it is.
I do too. To this day, the Sallie House attracts paranormal investigators and thrill seekers like us, but many leave with stories of violent encounters, from scratches to burns to overwhelming feelings of dread. The house has earned a reputation as a hub for dark, inexplicable phenomena.
Phenomenon.
Do, 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 do.
So I can handle scratches and overwhelming feelings of dread, but do not burn me.
Yeah, I guess that's like connection
hurts.
with like the fires in the house, maybe. Like,
I guess. I don't like that. Don't burn me.
No.
I burned myself enough on my hair straightener, and that shit hurts.
Yeah. So whether it's a vengeful spirit of Sallie or her grieving mother or something far more sinister, one thing is certain. Stepping into the Sallie House means confronting the unknown, and it's not for the faint of heart. Now, I do wonder when they say the mother, if the mother, when the mother eventually died, if that was just such a source of tragedy for her that her spirit was led back there and she's pissed. So we don't know.
I definitely don't think it's Sallie.
I don't think so either.
Or at least it's not all Sallie. Like maybe Sally's in the bedroom moving the toys.
Right.
But there's something else going on.
So we're going to get into a little bit of death. We're going to get into a little bit of,
yes.
a little bit of ghost stories, particularly some paranormal investigators that have been out there and their experiences that they've had at the Sallie House.
Okay.
So Nick Groff is a paranormal investigator. He started out on Ghost Adventures. He left, and he's been on Paranormal Lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
There's another show, I think it was like Ghosts of Shepherdstown, maybe. It was something like that that I saw him on. I've always liked Nick. He always comes across as very, very genuine to me. It can be a little dramatic. There's just something about him.
Look who he learned from.
Right. There's something about him that I feel is just very genuine.
Okay. I haven't watched too much of him. So I don't have much of an opinion on him.
So he has conducted multiple investigations at the Sallie House. His experiences there have been both profound and unsettling. He has his own YouTube show now called Death Walker.
Okay.
Okay, so in the series Death Walker, Groff dedicated an episode to the Sallie House, aiming to provoke a response from the entity known as Sallie. He employed various techniques to elicit activity, including spending the night alone in the house. This approach led to a series of eerie experiences, which he documented in the episode. Series of eerie? It makes me want to say series of eerie's. And it's hard.
Series of eerie's.
It was a hard sentence for me to get out correctly.
Yeah, but you did a good job.
I did a good job. I'm proud of myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Groff has shared a glimpse of his investigation on social media. And in a TikTok video, he explored the house alone, capturing chilling moments that resonated with his audience. You would have to go to his TikTok and just dredge through all of his stuff to find these. I did not have time to do that when I was researching for this to put up on the socials.
Yeah.
So on Instagram, he also posted about the challenges of sleeping alone in that location and emphasized the psychological toll it took on him. Throughout his time at the Sallie House, he reported various paranormal phenomenon, including unexplained noises, physical sensations, and visual anomalies. These experiences reinforced the house's reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity and left a lasting impression on him. At one point, he did get the word evil on the ghost box. Nick does not believe the activity in the Sallie House is from Sallie or a child. He believes it is something much more sinister and malevolent there.
I agree with Nick.
I do too. Then we have Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters. So he was the co-founder of the Atlantic Paranormal Society, or TAPS, and the star of the series, Ghost Hunters. Mm-hmm. And he led an investigation at the Sallie House. And during the investigation, the team encountered various unsettling experiences, including scratches, burns, and poltergeist activity. Like every time somebody goes out there and they're leaving with burns and scratches, like this whole reputation just gets bigger and scarier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sam and Colby in 2021. Sam and Colby are YouTubers. They have they do a bunch of paranormal stuff on YouTube. They had gone to the Sallie House to do an investigation, and they had a lot of unsettling stuff happen. So they heard mysterious sounds throughout the house, including footsteps and knocks, which they couldn't attribute to any known source. Both investigators felt a sudden temperature drops and unexplained touches leading to feelings of unease. Now, I was scratched, okay, and I didn't feel the, like if I took my finger and scratched myself, no, I didn't feel it in that way.
Yeah, you just felt the after.
I felt like a little bit of pain and like burning on my neck. And that's when I told Nick my neck hurts. But just to feel something touch you, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. They also had a lot of electronic devices malfunction, like their cameras and their EMF detectors. Everything, their batteries were draining. Just every crazy paranormal thing that you would expect to happen in like a really haunted place.
Yeah.
Seemed to really kind of get them. Specifically the battery drains. Now, that when the battery drains in your equipment, it's because the entity is trying to get the energy to manifest in some way.
Right.
When I'm on an investigation and batteries die, I get a little nervous because I'm
That
not
something
quite
big's
sure
about to happen.
what exactly is going to happen.
Yeah.
They also saw shadow figures and unexplained movement in their peripheral vision. Peripheral, I don't know.
Yeah. There's so much that your eyes could play tricks on you too.
Right. So
but also, apparently there's like eye diseases you can have that cause that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in a creative attempt to connect with the entity known as Sallie, they organized a mock birthday party, complete with decorations and a cake. During the event, they reported heightened activity, including objects moving on their own and intensified EMF readings. After their visit, because so much happened, of course, a lot of people questioned whether or not it was a legitimate investigation.
Right.
And I understand, because having been on paranormal investigations, it's like when you watch these shows, it's like, oh my God, this happened. Did you hear that? Blah, blah. And when you go on a paranormal investigation, it's a lot of sitting in the dark with a flashlight and nothing happening.
But to play devil's advocate on that is when you're on a paranormal investigation, you're sitting through in real time. Right. Whereas when they are putting stuff on TV, they are editing out all of those long periods of time where nothing happened.
Right.
And it makes it seem like way more is happening. But people, I mean, I don't know in this specific investigation. I just know in other shows, they'll be there for 8, 9, 10 hours.
Right.
And they have an hour's worth of thing to show you. So a lot gets cut out.
Just after doing investigations for like a whole weekend, we did not have anywhere near what these people get. But also they're going to some of the most infamously haunted locations. So I do understand the difference between that and just kind of like a small town kind of, let's see if we can help this family kind of thing. It's definitely a difference. I'm not saying that they fabricated anything, because I've seen enough about this Sallie House to know that everything they experienced is extremely possible.
Right. And I don't know them well enough to say whether I think they fabricated.
No, I don't. I've not really watched much of their stuff, so I don't know a lot about them.
Yeah.
And then our favorite show, Project Fear.
Project Fear.
Went to the Sallie House. So they did 2 episodes when they went to Project Fear or the Sallie House. And they named those episodes Satanic Sallie House, Our Poltergeist Encounter, and The Most Scared We've Ever Been were the names of these. Yeah. So during the investigation, they captured unexplained movements, objects, which they attributed to the poltergeist presence. In the basement, particularly around the pentagram, they sensed a malevolent presence, leading them to believe that they encountered a demonic entity. I remember they put Dakota in the basement by himself. Yeah, I was just going
to say that. Didn't they leave Dakota in the basement by himself?
They did.
And right on top of the pentagram?
He was not happy. He was not having a good time down there. And then he heard some knocking. I remember there was one of the doors. There was like a small door on the wall. And he heard some like noise or knocking behind that he was investigating. They also experienced feelings of weakness and energy depletion, especially when near areas believed to be like kind of have the most activity. What was interesting about their experiences is at one point they were upstairs and the front door opened by itself.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Right. So they came down, they tried to get it to happen. They couldn't get it to happen. And then while they were sitting in the living room, the TV kept turning on and off by itself. They also had while they were sitting in the living room, there seemed to be a lot of movement and activity in the kitchen area. You could hear a lot of stuff kind of going on in there. The front door and the TV turning on and off was particularly scary to them because Dakota and Chelsea in their childhood home had a lot of similar activity to that.
Okay.
And I believe that Tanner and Alex, being so close to them, had also experienced a lot of that activity.
Yeah.
And I think it really kind of pulled up that fear from being younger and living in a house like that. So it was interesting.
Yeah.
So I've never seen somebody go there and not just come out with just the wildest stories.
Well, let's go.
But I wanted to see, like, I wanted to find a normal person. It's not that they're not normal, but they have shows. They have shows. So I went to Reddit to see if I could find a story about the Sallie House, somebody that experienced there.
Okay.
I went to r/paranormal, and this is a story from Liza Hothand. Okay. And she said, I stayed in the Sallie House. She goes, if you've never heard of it, the Sallie House is a notorious haunted location in Kansas and has been called one of the most haunted houses in the U.S. My friends Tommy, Cap, Pat, and I rented this house last year and decided to investigate it. We used to do these types of things in high school, and I've always been highly sensitive to energies and spirits in general. The house is haunted by a little girl named Sallie. However, there is no record since being built of any girl named Sallie dying in the home. Only the story about it. They can't find records about it.
Interesting.
Sallie particularly doesn't like men, and many men experience visible scratches. My friends and I got into the house around midnight. As soon as you enter the home, you get this weird feeling of being watched. The house has an upstairs with 3 bedrooms. The first floor has a living room, dining room, and a kitchen. We were standing in the dining room talking about our plan, and suddenly Cap and I heard what sounded like a little girl humming. It wasn't the refrigerator or a mechanical noise. It sounded very human and like a little girl. I called the other guys, but as soon as I said something, it stopped. When they heard someone walk across the floor upstairs, like heavy men's boot steps. The footsteps would continue all night, anytime we were on the first floor.
Interesting.
Yeah. We decided to go upstairs. I was in the middle. Pat was last. Both Pat and I heard what sounded like someone whisper, "Hey," loudly in our ear. None of the others heard it, but it definitely shook us up. As soon as we got to the top of the stairs, it felt like none of us could breathe. Felt like something sitting on all of our chests. And you could hear all of us breathing heavily. Anytime any of us went upstairs, it felt heavy and hard to breathe. We sat in the little girl's room, which's got a kid's bed and lots of teddy bears. Tommy and Pat were sitting on the bed, and Cap and I were sitting on the floor in the corners. Tommy jumped up and yelled at Pat to quit touching him, but Pat hadn't been moving at all. I had been looking at both of them. Tommy said he felt as if someone was tickling his sides.
Oh, no.
And he thought Pat was messing with him.
Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
No, I don't like
crazy.
being tickled by humans. Adding a ghost to it?
Right. We then heard a thump, and Cap and I saw a dark shadow walk across the doorway of the room across the hall. We ran over there, but there was no one there. We heard a very loud thump, like someone dropped something heavy on the floor in the 3rd bedroom. We ran over there, and again, nothing was on the floor. There were plenty of other experiences too. We would hear someone having a conversation in the other room, but couldn't make it out. It just sounded like someone muttering. Every voice was a man, except for the humming of the little girl.
Interesting.
All of the shadows we could see moving were very tall. I thought that was
tall shadows.
I thought that was a really cool story of the experiences they had there.
Right. Someone, as you said, a normal person.
Right. Because when you watch these paranormal shows, it's like, oh, they got EVPs. Oh, they got this. Oh, you know.
Right.
And being a podcast, we can't tell you everything that happened on somebody else's show. You have to go watch it to hear everything that happened. We can't just tell you everything. But this story in particular, I really liked it. It seemed to corroborate a lot of the other stories you hear.
Yeah, it did.
The other experiences that people had. But I thought that was a great story, and I am very thankful that they shared it on Reddit.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So I am excited. You did a very good job not interrupting at the last half of this.
Thanks. I tried to be better.
Good job. You know, I love you in all of your interruptions.
I know. You put up with me.
I do. You put up with me.
I do.
Yeah, that can be quite the feat.
It's a joy.
Right. I know. I know it is. That's what my husband says too.
Mm-hmm.
And that wraps up our dive into the chilling history of the Sallie House. From mysterious origins to the unsettling experiences of those who've stepped through its doors. This house has solidified its place as one of the most infamously haunted locations in the world. Whether you believe in spirits, demons, or the power of a good ghost story, one thing is clear. This house knows how to keep its secrets.
And if you really like listening to us with all of our craziness, you should rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen, because your support helps us reach even more listeners and continue to bring you all these spooky, amazing, fun stories.
It does. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at notmyghostpodcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. We post updates, photos, especially when we're together.
Yeah.
When we go to Paracon, we'll probably have a lot of social media posts up there.
Yes, for sure.
Every episode we release has a social media post attached to it where you can look at pictures of things that we've talked about.
Yes.
And see the links and the sources that we use for the information.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want even more spooky content, you can join our Patreon, where depending on what tier you are, we have all kinds of amazing perks for you. You get your episodes early. You get a bonus episode every month. You get to vote on those bonus episodes and what topics you want us to cover. You get a live with us every month. So yeah, go join because it's a lot of fun.
We're about to add some other stuff to that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're only expanding.
Yep.
And if you have ever had your own paranormal experience,
Katie,
go email us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com so we can read your chilling encounter live, not live. We can read your encounter on our next Paranormal Postcards episode.
Please write in. Please. We love the stories. It's so much fun.
Do it.
Thank you for joining us on this chilling exploration of the Sallie House. Remember, as you wander through the eerie corners of haunted history, keep this in mind.
If it's not your ghost,
it's not your problem.
Until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.